Dissidia is finally leaving the Japanese arcades, and the beta has been our first chance to get our hands on it. Now, Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, which is a lot of words that don't really mean anything, is a 3D fighting game that uses a 3v3 arena brawler style format, kind of like Gundam Versus, except this game actually has a block button and a working dodge button. Now, the way it gets around the whole issue of locking people into a combo and then knocking them away that many other 3D fighting games like this tend to fall into, making them shallow, is its bravery system, where you don't actually do damage to a character's health until you make this number big enough and hit them with a special kind of attack, which actually does damage to them. Now, this attack is slower and has a more obvious wind-up, so it's easier to dodge, so good players, when they're being attentive, can easily outmaneuver everyone else. In fact, there are counters to many of the things you can do in this game, which is good, because that adds a lot more depth to a game that just seems to be get close to someone and press the X button. Now, there's an ample tutorial that can help you get to grips with the combat system if any of that sounded confusing. Elsewhere, there's a story mode, which seems to work as a web of connected nodes that either play cutscenes or story battles. Interestingly enough, to access these nodes, you need what's called a memoria, or a memory coin, or whatever, to actually unlock them before you can view them. And you get these by playing the game in its other modes, which I think is an interesting system for a fighting game. Because there have been many fighting games that I've played the story mode and then have just kind of gone, and then didn't bother to play the rest of it. But this one should keep other players invested in other things. Now, the contents of the story, well, let's not expect Shakespeare. Considering the last two Dissidia games of story, and Team Ninja being the developers behind this, they're not exactly known for their grand cross-cultural narratives. It is smart to have Noctis be the surrogate here, because he's new to this. But the other two major players here are Warrior of Light, who's the face of Final Fantasy, and Lightning, who's, I guess, the most popular one for some reason in Japan. There's the Gauntlet Mode, which is basically arcade mode, where you make a team and fight other battles. In the beta, there's only the basic form, but this seems like the place to put weekly events and seasonal things and crazy randomizer stuff or customs. Kind of like Injustice 2's multiverse mode. And this game has loot boxes, in the way of you earn treasures and then you can use them to gain cosmetic items like player icons, character quotes, and skins. Everything's cosmetic, so it's more Overwatch in that way. However, there are duplicates, and if you get duplicates, you get gil. Now, I haven't got any duplicates, so I don't know how much gil you get. And the store is not opened up in this beta, so I don't know how much things cost in the store. So I have no idea how real the grind is. But considering how much gil I get in the online matches when I lose, it might be pretty real. Plus, I don't know if this store will have real money transactions or just in-game item transactions. I think they said that they weren't going to do microtransactions, but who knows, it's Square Enix. Now, the two previous Dissidia games on the PSP were basically RPGs, so you had a lot of customization to the moves that your characters get. And there was all those numbers to keep track of. But this takes those away and basically restricts all the characters to one set of bravery moves and one HP attack at a time. Now, this may seem like less, but this allows them to specialize each character so there's no real overlap. And they can make everyone's playstyle a bit more different instead of just having a bunch of sword guys hitting all the weird bad guys in their strange playstyles, which was kind of an issue with the PSP games. Now, playing online, I actually had some frame rate stutters, and it seemed to take a while to connect to a match, and when I did, it got a bit slow, but not game-breaking, I guess. What can be game-breaking is a lack of cooperation with your teammates. Like, if you're not working together, these two people, you will lose. because the other team can just gang up on one really bad player, take him out 3 times, and win the match. Or if they get all of you guys alone, they can just destroy you. So stick to your guys, back each other up, try not to get broken, work together and you might win, because I certainly didn't, no matter how hard I tried. Seems kind of weird that there are loot box items for characters I can't play as in this beta.